What is going on, everybody? Welcome into another episode of the Tuesday Track Talk podcast featuring your Three Stones Pit crew. I am your gas man, Cam,
I'm your Jackman Kel.
I'm your tire changer, Cam.
and I missed it on the intro there, but this is episode number 74. And I think the title of this episode could be titled Hard or Soft. You choose. We're gonna talk Phoenix, and we had get your mind out of the gutters, guys. Um, we had option tire there, hard and soft. So um, that's going to be a big discussion today on today's episode. So we're going to talk a lot of cup racing at Phoenix and some other news locally for us on the asphalt side for Slinger. Some big news for us this past week, and then just some other news around the racing world. So before we always do get a quick pulse check. How we doing, boys?
Good.
Down an hour.
Yeah.
Down an hour. You're laying in bed last night at 10 o'clock going, it's 11 o'clock already.
And I will say this, though. I don't know if this is like sums up my uneventful life, but I was like, dude, there's something about like went for a quick 20-minute walk before we hopped on, and it's still light out at 6:50. It's
Yeah.
it is nice. And so you got to deal with the suck for a week, but
Yeah.
this
I
is
feel
nice.
I feel like it's finally warm enough to open the windows a little bit. So
Yep.
it finally warmed up here in the north that I feel like there's a little bit of life in like looking to be outside again finally. So that helps.
This is a teaser because then you know that racing season up here is about to start.
Yep.
We're getting there.
5 Saturdays. So we're getting there. One day at a time.
And I always think too, just for beat bopping around and driving like this time of year is, when you're coming to and from the racetrack, I guess it doesn't matter, but still on a Sunday night, if you're going traveling or going to and fro, there's nothing fun about driving in the dark. So I'm jazzed up about this daylight savings time and getting some extra light. But yeah, anything else new?
Not really.
No.
All right. Well, before we get into the episode, you guys hard or soft? No, I'm kidding. We got a jam-packed episode for you guys today. So before we get into a little bit of a deep dive into Slinger Speedway news around that, we're going to touch on some news on the racing scene just across the country. So Cal, I'll let you dive into the first couple here news topics.
Yeah, so looking at the first handful of items here, Jason Durham will crew chief for Hudson O'Neal at SSI Motorsports. So he'll bring a plethora of experience and knowledge with him. They'll be hopping aboard that Longhorn team there with SSI. Staying in the dirt super late model scene, Jimmy Owens signs his loyalty paperwork to run the full Hunt the Front Super Dirt Series in 2025. So that was kind of a surprise announcement for them. They had their season opener for their points racing on Saturday night, and right before hot laps, they posted on social media that he had filled out his paperwork. So he's headed to run the whole Hunt the Front for their points series. And then going from a dirt super late model to an asphalt pro late model, Garrett Smith, well known for his number 10 dirt late model, will make his asphalt debut in the Baby Rattler for Bryson Lopez Racing. That's coming up this weekend, and we'll touch on that for race previews as well. So another driver kind of dabbling in both the dirt and the late model, asphalt late model side of things.
Good to see Jimmy Owens signing on with Hunt Front.
Yep.
Following a series. So yeah, I'll take these next couple here. Appalachian Sucker Punch. announces they are going to be the official title sponsor for the ASA SARS National Tour. Not advocating for any post-race sucker punches, but happy to have them on board. So they announced they are going to be the ASA National Tour official title sponsor. So happy to have them on board. In the Spire truck here, I feel like we're getting close to having that schedule fully filled out here. But Kyle Larson and William Byron announced this past week they're going to run select races in that Spire 07 in the truck series. So again, we're getting for those guys in the truck series, again, we're getting a fair share of cup guys coming down. And we've had that debate before whether they should be allowed or not, but regardless, gives those truck guys a chance to race against the best of the best. So yeah. And then Luke Baldwin, staying in the truck series, he announced he will make his truck series debut with Thor Sport on a multi-race deal starting at Martinsville. So Luke Baldwin getting behind the seat. Forget who the sponsor was. Anybody remember who the sponsor was?
Oh, no.
It was a construction company of sorts.
Got
it.
I brought it up, so count
former or the most recent Smart Tour Modified champion.
Yep. I'm looking right now.
I thought it was kind of a unique sponsor. I don't know why I brought
Carry
that
on.
up, but
I'll find it. Carry on.
So yeah. Again, that Thor Sport truck is got a fair share of good guys rotating through that. So will be interesting to see what he does in that truck. So, and then lastly here, in the Cup Series, Burt Myers announces he is going to run with the Amervet, the 50 at Martinsville. So he's back at it. Ran the Clash with that team and was running well. So the short track package for that team was working well at the Clash. So similar track and bringing Burt Myers back in the seat. So
Cam, that's Mohawk northeast.
oh, yep, trucking company, right?
Trucking Crane, I believe.
Got it.
Cool. Of note on that Larson deal, he's going to have 2 opportunities to do a weekend sweep, as well as he's running the Xfinity races the same weekends at Homestead and Bristol, I believe.
Bristol, baby. Yep.
Yep. So he's got 2 opportunities to sweep, do something that Busch did years ago.
Yep.
All right, moving on to the NASCAR side of things. 2 big penalty reports came out at the same time this week. Austin Cindric was penalized 50 points and fined $50,000 for following his Coda incident this past weekend with Ty Dillon. Excuse me. A lot of people were wondering why there was no suspension attached to it, as it seemed to fit the bill. Colleague came out and said that wreck damaged that car 6 figures as well. So not a great day for them as well. It drops him from 11th in points to 34th in points. That was as of before the Phoenix race.
Yep.
On the other side of things, Chase Briscoe won his appeal from Daytona of the spoiler issue, so the penalty is overturned. He goes from the mid 40s in points back up into 14th. One that he said was his largest points day he's ever had. And is a rare appeal win on the NASCAR scene as well.
Yep. Yeah, for sure.
Best points day of his career.
What's that?
Best points day of Briscoe's career there.
Yeah.
And I will say that is a unique and helpful process that NASCAR does have. The ability to appeal and go through that and have teams explain why or what their findings were on why things happened the way they did. So
that brings up a point, but I'm going to save that for a Phoenix discussion. So we'll revisit that.
Oh boy, this ought to be good. Why don't you just go ahead and throw that last one out there because no one understands any of it, but we have to talk about it because it's
Yeah, so there's more juice to the story with the whole NASCAR 2311 Front Row Motorsports lawsuit. So the gist of it is NASCAR has countersued Front Row and 2311, saying that those teams. Okay, so they sued specifically 2311 Front Row and longtime Michael Jordan business partner Curtis Polk.
Yep.
Saying that the three willfully violated the antitrust laws by orchestrating anti-competitive collective conduct. NASCAR wants to eliminate the guaranteed entries for those teams for this year. NASCAR reiterated that teams get 49% of the current media rights deal, which is up from 25. Or no, sorry, it was 38 to 40%. And then the 2311 for Aurora claiming that charters are illegal agreements. This was a big deal because it was the teams that wanted the charters, not NASCAR. So the teams came in and said that they wanted these charter deals, and now they're going back on. Some teams are going back on their word. Notably, a couple of teams that may have not been a huge presence when the charters were first introduced.
Yep.
Of note. NASCAR's legal rep Chris Yates says that NASCAR would be fine with going back to just having all open cars. But 2311 Front Row will seem intent on destroying the value of race teams in partnership with NASCAR they have built. There was a lot of bashing on Curtis Polk, who, in one summarized term, said that he just doesn't understand NASCAR and got too much and just thought he could run it like the NBA.
Got it.
Putting it in layman's terms. So it just got ugly again, essentially.
Your daily lawsuit update that, if I'm gonna be honest, I didn't understand some of it, but I'm just going, all right, so now NASCAR's countersuing 2311 in Front Row. Just figure out what happens from there.
So now it's basically a finger pointing war. It's your fault. No, it's your fault. No, it's your fault.
Over a whole lot of money.
Mm-hmm. That seems like everybody's been getting.
And guaranteed spots when you show up at the racetrack.
So
take it for what it's worth.
Yep.
Sounds like you guys are choosing the old NASCAR side.
After that recent development, I mean,
and NASCAR said, "Hold my beer."
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll keep updating you as that goes. If you're super interested in the lawsuit deal, but just seems like it's a lot of hoopla.
Obviously, if you're looking for more info, Matt Weaver, Jeff Gluck, Bob Bockeris, a little bit of Adam Stern. That's pretty much where I've been reading all this information from. So, yeah.
Hoopla.
Yeah, it's just interesting. And then you get, did Polk say that this countersuit was meritless or something? It's just getting
it's getting ugly.
And
yeah, it's the old meme of the three Spider-Mans pointing fingers at each other.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah. So this is safe to say this conversation is far from over. So
yes.
And again, we don't have law degrees. We can't fully interpret what is going on. So let people a little bit smarter than us break it down for us, and then we'll pass it along to you guys. So yeah, so that is it for news on the national scene, but we had some big news on the local scene in the asphalt super late models. And I will let you guys take this away and start here with the Slinger Super Speedway, the news and updates. And they made a Facebook post a few weeks ago that there was a pending sale And so last week there was some big news, and so I'll let you guys jump into this and I'll chime in from there.
I guess I'll start with it. So Todd and Elizabeth Thielen have handed off the ownership of the Slinger Super Speedway to Travis and Kelsey Dasso. So the Thielens have always said that they were always open to conversations about selling the track, but they were going to make sure it was the right deal. Notably, Travis Dasso, former racer, especially here in the Midwest, owner of Apex Motorsports and TD Graphics, and then his wife joint owned or bought the track from the Thielens. Obviously said they thanked them for making sure the track stayed open and went to a racing family. Because, yeah, you know, you always hear of new ownerships and tracks closing shortly after and whatever the case may be. So one of the few, yep, track's still staying around scenarios.
Yep. Yeah, they just made it very apparent even before announcing who the track was going to, that when they handed the whole operation off, they wanted to make sure it was going to stay a racetrack. And it was going to be in the hands that, or a set of hands that they knew it would be viable with. And I think knowing the Dassau's history, I think makes sense.
Yep.
So yeah, it'd be cool to see kind of how he takes a hold of the reins and see where he steers the ship in terms of what he wants to change, what he wants to keep the same. I know they've been hard at it already on social media in terms of things they want to improve from a driver or tech or fan standpoint, but also dropping the goods, the things that people want to see stay the same as well. So a week into this and they're already diving into aspects that people enjoy and people feel like need a little adjustment.
And I think with this, sorry, I'm going to just chime in quick. You know, as race fans, you got to be a little bit you got to be understanding. Not even a little bit. You got to be understanding. There's going to be two parts of this. There's going to be some good, and there's going to be some stuff that you don't agree with. And you know, you can just be thankful that racing, that the track is staying open. They're trying their best to keep it open. It's not gonna. They're not gonna get everything fixed and upgraded overnight. Um,
Ellen, you can
so
speak of the bathrooms.
Yeah.
so so again,
Yep.
just be thankful that it's staying open. It's going to another racing person, and they're going to give it their best shot to do what's right. Now you're going to agree with some stuff. You might not agree with everything, but just give them time and let it shake out. Don't I'm sure they're a little bit overwhelmed with everything they got right now, and um, trying to figure out where do we start, what's highest priority. So um, just thankful that it's staying a racetrack. They're committed to keeping it the spectacle that it is, and so just be a little bit patient and understanding.
For sure.
So the main reason you want to bring this up, and obviously I think this revolves around one race, and that is the Slinger Nationals. And this is why we want to bring this up.
Yep.
We have stated before, last year especially, that we feel that the Slinger Nationals is the Snowball Derby of the North. We've said that multiple times.
Concur.
And we were also right in the front of it saying that we felt like that race has lost its prestige.
Yep.
The reason why we bring this up is because one of the first big moves that they did was Dasso Travis has hired Ricky Brooks of the UARA to be in the room of doom for the Slinger Nationals.
It was the room of doom, not 300, 250 some days ago, whatever it was.
It was a doom. It was a room, that's for sure. So it's Ricky Brooks and UARA. Now, big note of this: the race will still remain an unsanctioned race running under Wisconsin super late model rules. The commitment is to the integrity of the race, and that's what it's always been. It's never been a sanctioned race. It almost was with ASA a while back, and we saw how that deal fell apart and never rejuvenated itself. Even with ASA going to Slinger this year, still, it is still not the Nationals.
Yep.
So it's still keeping its integrity. It's just now you've got a big guy that'll know the rule book
Yep.
enforcing the shed, especially after last year and the tech shed was under high scrutiny.
Yep. For sure. So, I think when we talk about this, I got a couple pieces that go along with this. So let's not be naive. Ricky Brooks knows his way around a race car.
100%.
He's been in charge of the Snowball Derby tech, as we mentioned, for a long time. So I
Did the
think,
big league.
the big league, yep. Obviously any of the UARA sanctioned races, he has a very heavy hand in all of this. I think when we talk about the Slinger Nationals being the Slinger Nationals, some of the people that are familiar with him might be enticed to come up here knowing he is running that process. So when we talk about the Slinger Nationals and the last couple of years that the car count has kind of fell off or you're not drawing the names, is this step number one to bringing guys in that the tech shed is no longer a question mark as to what goes on. It's okay, when you do deal with Ricky Brooks for UAR, it's a different set of rules, but it's going to be handled the same for every single car as it goes through, and it'll be handled in a consistent manner. So that's my question is I just wonder, those that have that are happy with how he runs his operations, does that entice those guys to come back up?
I would say yes, because again, you want a tech shed is a nightmare. And the last thing that we want is question marks around the tech shed. And so if a driver can come to this event and know the expectations, the standards, and with certainty, this is how it's going to be, that's all we want. And so, um, yeah, like you said, as long as the rules and the expectations are followed through and it's black and white for everybody,
Yep.
I think it will draw those guys that, appreciate the way he runs his events back.
And, obviously we talked about the struggles in tech last year. I hate to single a guy out, but Andrew Morrissey, obviously him and that entire team had a hell of a time going through the tech shed between Monday and Tuesday.
Yeah, I'm looking
But one
for
of we talk about, maybe it brings up a Southern presence. Ricky Brooks, not that he's the voice of the Southern guys, but he could get in the minds of those Southern guys and know what they're thinking as far as rule book goes. I would be pretty confident saying that Travis Dassel, unless there's some big commotion going on in the pits after a race, that he is going to be in the tech shed as well during teardown. It will be
Yep.
the voice of both the Midwest guys, so that way they
this
get
is
the common ground.
this is the debate right here.
Yep.
That's the tweet from a year ago that the body brace not fitting on what was winner Andrew Morrissey's car.
And that was, it was supposed to be pre-approved before the track car even got on track. That happened to Johnny Sauter last year.
Yep.
And then, did the car ever get passed to get on the track and then race? And then obviously got DQ'd afterwards for a multitude of things and just
Yeah.
got
Yeah.
ugly.
Yep. And I think just bringing a piece of consistency to that room, especially for that event, they're not racing for little money at that event.
No.
And if you want that playing field to be as level as all possible, and when we talk about the qualifying for that race, we're talking hundreds or thousands of a second. You
There is
want
no
that playing
sandbagging.
do you want that playing field to be as level as possible? And you know, I think they've got a one in the chamber here that can do that and make sure that that thing is loaded up and ready to go, and it's set to be as consistent as possible across the board. So
Now the other layer that I want to add to this, obviously we want to make the National Slinger Nationals great again. Make it the prestige that I think we feel like it should
Shout
be.
out 45 and 47 there.
Easy. But the other layer that I wanted to add to this was I mentioned ASA, and they're going to be there later this year.
yep.
Why was ASA, and I forget his name right now, but their tech guy, I'm gonna look it up here real quick. But why was the ASA not? I feel like this is a very quick decision where Ricky was the first phone call, and he
Yep.
pretty much said yes right away. Where ASA was not even considered. Of the hey, could you loan us your tech guy for this
Yep.
race?
Yeah. I just think I kind of wonder already, knowing, well,
Is there connections?
two things. One,
Freddie Creary.
yeah. So 7, 8. So when we look at this loan, I'm looking at the schedule just to see if the national tour in the vicinity of that is on the road somewhere. No, July is 8. I'm sorry. I'm just looking to see. Oh, 7.
So ASA is not on the road before that.
Yep.
And let's see, where was it? I had it. I lost it. There it is. And
But
ASA
just
is
think,
not on the road after it.
so just thinking about that, well, ASA has their standalone event already on the schedule. Maybe having a standalone event there, they just went another direction. That's a good question. That answer I don't have. I just wanted to look at the schedule first to see, well, if there was an obvious.
But and again, we were not shy to mince words about the ASA and UARA rules and seals and all that. And now, given again, this is a non-sanctioned race, or I should say, this is a Slinger Super Speedway sanctioned race.
Correct.
And it's just Ricky Brooks is enforcing the Slinger Super Speedway rules.
Right.
But there's that name that's attached to it as well.
Correct. We'll see. My gut feeling is there's more that meets the eye with this one.
And obviously you were there last year, and you were part of our conversations with, myself and our pal at the track, and he was questioning whether he was even going to be there this year between, camping and getting in and having all these tech issues and stuff like that, and
Yep.
can some of those issues kind of resolve itself?
Yep. For sure.
So
The interesting
I'll
part
just
of all of this is, what solves this? Father Time. We're only going to find out when the time comes.
to that point, do I expect to see a first year turnaround? No, but that first year could be a very big stepping stone for guys. All right, this is what happened that first year. I'll commit for next year.
Yep.
it's a tone setter.
Yep. 100%.
All right, since you guys last question on this topic, since you guys are, obviously more well versed in the local asphalt super late model world, overall Dassau ownership, the Ricky Brooks announcement, where are you guys at on the heat meter? Are you guys juiced up, really optimistic? Are you guys right down the middle, or are you ice cold and pessimistic about the direction?
I've got a way to approach this. There's two ways that I approach this, because I think of one, the Dassels as track owners, and I am all aboard it. Like, I am like, all right, track's in good hands. I am no worries at all.
Yep.
Whereas the Ricky Brooks situation is like, all right, my curiosity is. So
Yeah.
if you put them in two different ways, they're pointing in two different directions.
So
But
you're
if you
right
were to
down
put
the
them
middle.
together, they're going to be right in the middle.
Yeah, no, I think to your point, when you see an announcement that a track is being sold, the first thing that comes to a guy's mind is, well, another condo unit, another apartment building,
Especially
another
with a ski
parking
hill
lot.
right across the street from the place.
You took the words out of my mouth, and the ski hill's right across the street. But no, I think, like you said, Cam, I think it's not going to turn around overnight. And not that it needs a complete overhaul. Slinger had some good things going on. It's just they're going to put their touch on it as to what they've seen from the other side as well, not being the owner. So I'm excited to see kind of what direction they take it. The things that stay the same, the things that they decide to improve on. I'm excited for that. I just hope the momentum carries into the race season. And the only way we'll really know is when you start to find out what your weekly car count looks like, and then obviously your big one with the Slinger Nationals. So
Let's make a point there too, because you bring up the weekly racing. They're one of the only tracks around here that races on a Sunday, for one.
Yep.
But two, it's not like their car count was hurting on the weekly series either.
No, they've had a really good weekly car count as well. So I'll be curious to see. You know, it's another conversation we talked about streaming services. They are a Racing America track.
Yep.
That's, you know, you peel the layers back. There's a million ways you can look at it. There's a million ways you can look at it, you know. That's, you know, you peel back another layer and that's another conversation. Are we
To the
going to
good
Racing
side.
America? Do we go to
Come
Flow on a Sunday
Pit
afternoon?
Row TV.
Your options, you have a lot of options, but
Yep.
so there's a million
Realistic-
layers.
Realistically, there's only one real option, and it's coming to the good side.
I think all three of us honestly would not be opposed to that.
Of course not. I'd tune
One
in
less
every Sunday.
subscription payment.
Yep. I'd tune in every Sunday. But yeah, so there's a million layers to it. Very, very optimistic, especially knowing that they're in the hands of a racing family. So yeah, cool. I'm excited for that.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. And I see their first weekly show is April 5th.
No.
No, it's April 27th, I think, is the season opener.
It's usually the Sunday before the SA race at Madison.
Yep.
What did I see? Did I see something going on at Slinger April 5th?
Well, we are on some devices that have internet.
I have the schedule.
I thought I saw something that was going on April 5th. Might not be racing related, but
yeah, they might have like an even destruction or something like that.
Okay, nope. Must have been something else.
First one I got on here is April 19th. And it's an Easter egg hunt.
It's an Easter egg hunt.
Oh. I mean, it's kind of racing per se. Yeah, so April 27th is technically their opener. That's a Sunday afternoon.
They do a lot of afternoons up until I forget what date, and then they switch to nights again.
Yeah, that's the Jerry Parisian Memorial, the All-Star Challenge Series. So April 27th is their first real racing event, if you're not counting the Easter egg hunt. That was good. But yeah, if you can't be there, you want to watch the world's fastest quarter mile, you can watch my Racing America every Sunday afternoon.
Yep.
Camera doesn't do the place justice though, so get there sometime.
Cool.
So
yeah, like you said, Father Time, it'll be interesting to see how that first year goes for the Dassel family. But like you said, happy it's not turning into an apartment complex or industrial building. So excited to see where that goes. So let's flip the script here and let's go to a big topic here. Fresh off the press, we've got Phoenix Cup Series at Phoenix. Christopher Bell going 3 in a row, and I want to say it's the first time somebody's done it since 2018 when the man in the booth, Kevin Harvick, did it. So I'll just kick it to you guys here. Gut reaction to Phoenix.
Fire was great.
I enjoyed it. Thoroughly enjoyed it.
When you saw Ryan Preece bolt that first set of red tires on, and he literally went plus 30, you knew you were going to be in for a roller coaster of a race.
I saw a graph of Kyle Larson's times. Then during practice, he had the yellows and then he had the reds on. And so the yellows had its line and times and everything like that. And then Larson, and then his red line was literally a jump up.
Yep.
Well, I think they said pre-race corner speed on a hard tire was 108 and
Oh,
a red tire was at least 115. So
easy.
Yep.
uh wow,
Yeah,
that was awesome.
for sure.
And I mean, you saw it at Richmond 2 years ago too, where that softer tire came into play. Now, the big thing with that is NASCAR and Phoenix have already come out and said that they are not running the option tire at Phoenix, but would explore a softer tire as the tire for Phoenix as well. So in part, this could have been a test of sorts
Yep.
for that option tire and saying, all right, maybe we can run this tire at Phoenix for the championship race.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't like 30-second timeout. If you take what we had today and you plop it on November 5th or 6th or whatever weekend that championship weekend is,
Yep.
I think Phoenix has got the championship race for until the place is destroyed. I
I
take
mean,
everything you had today, 2 tires, everything you had today, and if you bring that everything right back to Phoenix on championship weekend,
I don't know.
we're,
Homestead still puts up a good argument. We'll see that in a
does,
couple weeks.
does Homestead explore a potential not that soft, but a moderately softer tire?
I don't know why they have to.
True. I'm just saying. We're on that train of asking the question around this tire all of a sudden.
Yeah.
But no,
I,
I think the red soft tire it did everything everyone could have asked for.
beyond
Yep.
awesome.
Yep.
Gave good mix in the field. It was going to be the who's going to go first, and be the guinea pig. And thank you, Priest, because
That was
that was
video game
awesome.
like.
Yeah,
Yeah.
literally. So that was awesome, and yeah, love that. And that was that was pretty sweet. Good mix throughout the field. So
Brees got a 15th place finish out of it.
Yep.
and that's like they said, big for him. But again, it gives guys that literally the option. And it adds just a whole new layer of brain work and brain overload to the team, the driver of when are we going to do it? When is the right time? Do you save it don't save it too long because you do not want to end the race with a set of reds behind the wall.
And
So
you don't want to be caught running primaries when everybody else is running reds.
yeah. So
Yeah.
I don't know. It just was it was awesome. Thoroughly enjoyed it. And yeah, I'm all for that. This is, hey, 2 weeks in a row we can say NASCAR. Let's all around. Let's go. So
Yep.
um 2 weeks in a row we're on a heater. So um let's get into a little bit of the race here. Like we said, there was again moving and shaking all day with the red tire, but big storyline early here. We had a Hunt Brothers pizza car that was bad fast, and he had to take a pass through penalty on pit road there for the 22 in Logano, and it was for going below the yellow line before the start finish line. And so
Fair or false?
yeah,
I mean, let's first say that is the penalty. I think the penalty itself is fair. If anybody jumps below the yellow line before start finish line, absolutely fair penalty. Now, Logano's standpoint, I don't know. I even threw it in the comments to you guys, and we never really did get a definitive look at it. But I thought Holsevar was really close too, who was sitting behind him.
I thought he was just as illegal as Logano was too.
par for the broadcast in Fox, which is a whole nother story. We never got a real good look at it. But
Kind of like
I I thought it was, as they would say in in football, bang bang, you know. It was
Boyer even said it was pretty ticky tacky.
that's what did I throw in the chat? Ticky tacky. I thought it was he was coming
Yeah.
across the line, and one could say timed it out perfectly.
Yeah. So the thing about it is when I think about it, like, okay, fine. That's your point where the guys can spread out because you have the dog leg with the pave apron, which I think we should put the grass back in there. But that fixes the whole thing. Put the grass back in there.
Yep.
But the reality of it is he didn't make a move to block. It wasn't like you're racing at Daytona and you block someone down below the yellow.
Right.
Okay, yeah, he crossed it by 3 or 4 inches, call it 6 inches. But it wasn't like they were racing for position and he blocked someone below the yellow and blatantly did that to gain an advantage. I understand, when we talk racing, we're talking
Inches.
this much here and there.
Yep.
I understand that, but yeah, I don't know. Part of me agrees with it because it is the rule, but part of me is like, really? That's what we're gonna. I don't know.
And you talk about flipping your script for the entire day.
He had to put reds on right away.
Yep. Then they got caught without reds when everybody else was.
Of course. And he had a fast race car up front, but he just couldn't get track position to get back to where he had a fast race car. I don't know. That one was a little bit understood it, but didn't love it.
Finished 13th on the day.
Yeah. Probably had a car with top 5 speed.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
So
I don't know.
Point that Kellen, you were just talking, and I was like, I need to bring that up. And the more you kept talking, I forgot.
So I don't know.
Let's jump to this point then too. I saw a stat, and I don't remember the exactly, but either way, this was the most number of cautions that we had at Phoenix in the past. At least 3 races there.
Yep.
And obviously we had the big one there on the backstretch.
Yeah. Yeah, they wrecked a few race cars there with Haley and Briscoe and Brad Kay. Holsevar was involved in that one. Herbst took a hell of a hit there. Yeah, that was a rough one there. Just Gibbs was kind of coming up. Haley kind of tried to give him room and got into Briscoe, and then it all broke loose from there.
Yeah.
That was quite the little wreck there, actually.
That was, not to totally change the subject, but that was the big one on the day. Spin back a little bit. You had the Catherine Leggy single car spin there. On the back
that
stretch.
Actually set that one up.
That set that one up.
Poor Suarez.
Then you have the big one. Later on, you have the leggy incident with Suarez.
Yep.
Shame. Suarez just an innocent bystander. Was putting together a race too by having that red strategy.
Yeah, he was running what, 6th or 7th, I think they said at the time.
Yep.
6th at the time, I think it was. And he's somebody that you could say his seat is getting a little warm right now. Having Zillage, a contracted trackhouse driver, he's on a 1-year deal. It's kind of a
Put 2 and 2 together.
Yeah, of course. And he actually had a decent race going at the time, and the next thing you know, he's parked.
Yep.
He just
due to no fault of his own.
Of course not.
Which brings up the whole other conversation of NASCAR standards of who do we get to put on the track.
Where's Mr. Wallace?
I'm not correct. And Leggy, you can say what you want, but Yeah, I don't know what standard are we setting for who we're going to allow to get behind the seat of a cup car in race. And
I mean, you let Elio Castroneves, no bash on him, but you let him get in a cup car at Daytona.
Yep.
But
which is
but but she's got to run a super or a short track or a road course race before she can even do anything else.
Yep.
okay. Elio throttling it out on the apron.
I just we like, and I know that the whatever this provisional that they had was there for a reason,
Dude,
but
that thing
still,
went
it's
90 degrees to the
right.
right.
But you got to be consistent. Like, why?
Correct. I get it. She ran in the Indy 500, but like, let's be honest. Not everyone's Kyle Larson.
Correct.
I don't want to point fingers, but like, we have one of the most anomaly drivers of anything on earth running in our series weekly, and it's not as easy as what people think. And the IndyCar people are probably saying that about Larson too. Fair, but when you look at it, Larson didn't junk half the field. Larson didn't take someone out points racing. Well, Suarez is points racing. Well, he can walk away finishing what, sixth from last because that other wreck. Like, I don't know. That one was frustrating to me,
Yep.
but nothing you can do about it now.
So yeah, that catches up Suarez. And then we had a couple. I forgot we had a few single car cautions in there. McDowell brought it out. Was it twice by himself?
Tough
Promising
day for
weekend.
Spire.
Yeah,
Yeah.
promising weekend gone wrong for Spire. He brings it out himself. Gibbs brought it out there late by himself. Bubba brought it out by himself. So
Blaney brought one out.
Blaney
Oh
brought one
yeah.
out.
Blaney was fogging for
So,
mosquitoes.
so yeah, that
Hey,
was
he said he had a blower go or a motor going, and he sure was right.
Yep.
so
Yep,
yeah,
for
that
sure.
was
Kind of
those were the
one last little,
cautions on the day.
yeah,
Go ahead.
one last little bullet point. So we were talking about the caution thing. This wasn't necessarily part of it. Bubba and Gibbs, I believe they both stated they have brake issues. Bubba for sure. We never got to talk to Gibbs. But the single part source or single supplier deal with and they mentioned this on the broadcast. I think it's worth mentioning. We have all the options with the tires, but now when you're buying parts for these cars, it's a single source supplier. The power steering issues.
Yep.
These are a reoccurring thing here that all of a sudden we're having a lot of issues. We maybe need to take a look at that, please.
And going back to that Chase Briscoe thing that I was talking about earlier, they said that it was an issue with how they got the part from the supplier.
Yep.
And they needed to get it on the car.
Of course.
And if NASCAR is doing the quality control of those pieces,
Uh-oh.
as it was supposedly said on the broadcast.
Yep. Yeah, just having a lot of power steering issues. So
we've had one each week.
Yep, for sure.
You talk about tens driving that car into the corner, not knowing if you're going to have power steering. Because Reddick at one point they were saying it was going in and out.
Yep. Not knowing if you can rely on it, having to put a little wheel in it or grab a hold of it and really wheel it.
Ruined his day too.
Of course. So, yeah, for sure.
So yeah, that was kind of the single car cautions there. Fox doesn't have too many sweet graphics, but that one of Ty Gibbs they put up there, that was Jesus.
Oofed.
Boy's got about an average 30-second finish in the last 10 races.
Yeah, he is. I saw a tweet too that said, at one point in the race, he was outrunning Leggy, Ware, and somebody else, and they're just like, the tweet was like, "What is the 54 team doing?" So, um,
Thanks.
When your teammates are
tough,
up front.
correct.
Yeah.
So, yeah, tough break for him, but ultimately we did have a awesome finish there at the end. Christopher Bell and Logano going at it. Larson showing and getting in there
Hamlin.
late, or Bell and Hamlin going at it. Larson, catbird seat right behind, watching, and then a short track god, Josh Berry. Solid day across the board for him. Right behind him, coming to the line. So ultimately, your top 10 was Christopher Bell goes 3 in a row. He beats his teammate Denny Hamlin. Then it's Kyle Larson, Josh Berry, Chris Buescher, William Byron, Alex Bowman, Kyle Busch, Zane Smith, Chase Elliott round out your top 10. So, some interesting names there in the top 10. Shout them out while we're here. Josh Berry getting a top 10, P4 for the Wood Brothers, big for them. Again, we talked about Kyle Busch last weekend, across the board, getting just a good clean run all weekend. Another good weekend for him. And then again, another shout out here in that young Ford camp. Zane Smith getting a top 10, finishing ninth. So
Yep.
overall, and we love to throw this random fact in there too. Like if you come up with so many criteria, there's a first time for everything. Closest finish in Phoenix history. That was today.
Second.
Second?
Yeah, Kevin Harvick's got the closest finish there, just so you know.
Oh, was that year with him and Edwards?
Yep.
Yeah, that's right.
They said that in the
this-
broadcast went silent, and I just saw it tweeted as a picture of the finish, and it said Harvick is standing right there. You per the broadcast, you're 100% correct. But
Okay, well that's what I was going off of our sweet Fox crew.
Of course.
It's got zero chemistry up there, but
Yikes.
yeah. So that was the NASCAR Cup Series at Phoenix. Again, I feel like for all of us, we can sit here and say, give her the old 2 thumbs up, everybody.
Yep.
Give her yep, everybody give 2 thumbs up. Show it for the camera. Everybody give 2 thumbs up.
From Bob Pockris.
Hey,
Tech is
no.
complete. No
Come on.
issues.
Fangirl, let's give her 2 thumbs up for Phoenix. All right, there we go.
Yep.
No issues at Tech.
Yep.
No,
No
issues
cars
in
to
Tech.
R&D.
All good.
No cars to R&D.
All right.
Cool.
Let's get into our weekly award that we announced last week. We're jumping to Wheelman of the Week. And this Wheelman of the Week, across the board's got a soft spot in our heart. So don't think there's much debating this one. It was kind of unanimous across the board. So I'll let the old tire changer take this Wheelman of the Week.
Oh, dude. I was sitting here on Friday night, had my old Bill Baylog merchandise on. We had a good dash, started fourth in the feature race at Talladega Short Track. Just slowly picked his way up. About halfway through, he got the lead. David Gravel was coming. The North Pole Nightmares got ice in his veins. Held off the champ, going for 3 in a row. Bill Baylog spoils the party and he takes one.
Yep.
Attaboy, Bill. And then he had a decent run going on Saturday as well. Kind of fell back a little bit at the end of the race, but he's been in, I want to say half of the dash, maybe more than half of the dash races so far this year.
Yep. Yeah, I even saw IRA Sprint Cars, they retweeted his win, and it was the old 10 time gets it done.
Oh
10
yeah.
time IRA Sprint Cars. So that was hell of a tweet for that. And he's a hell of a wheelman, obviously. He's won a lot of races. They said 140 some IRA Sprint Car races. So
Yep.
Good to see him get it done on the World of Outlaw stage as well.
Yep. Really hoping, obviously, sophomore season for him.
Yep.
Kind of he got a really good taste of the national tour scene last year. Hopefully he's got it figured out going into this year. Foot's in good condition. Had a scare a little bit earlier this year, but he's good. He's good there and ready to roll into the heart of the season.
Yep. So, Bill Balog, Wheelman of the Week.
You betcha. Coming fresh off the press. What, 2 weeks ago? You got the old wing board.
Yeah.
That's why I said soft spot in our heart for this Wheelman of the Week. So, yeah, good for him. Again, sophomore season, familiar. He knows what he's in for. Knows the expectation and some familiarity with the tour. So, hoping for a good year for the old Billy B. So, let's get into some race previews for this week. So, I already claimed the last one. So, Kellen and
Yeah, for sure.
Jackman and Tire Changer, you guys can debate who wants to take.
Yeah, so
looks like I
speaking,
claimed.
yep, speaking of Ricky Brooks and UARA, they are headed down for the Rattler 250. That'll go ahead and race on Saturday, I believe, correct?
Yeah. The baby rattlers on Friday,
Yep.
big rattlers on Saturday.
Yep, Baby Rattler on Friday for the Pro Late model portion. And then you got the Rattler 250 on Saturday as well. So Midwest connections there for us. Austin Nason, Gabe Summers, Justin Mondike, kind of a surprise. Kendrick Cryer will be running down there as well. Other notable names on the list: Nassie, Pollard, Roderick, Atwell, Finch, Michael Hind, Dorr, Elrod, Corey Hall. Pretty good field of super late models racing for some big money. 250 lap feature. So she's a doozy and a long one.
2 points. One, Pollard coming off of a sweep last year.
Yep.
Looking to repeat. 2, Roderick at a super late model as your defending ASA champ. Finally.
Finally.
Finally. Throwing that out there. Defending ASA champ.
Yep. I'm picking up what you're putting down. So yeah, that is on Racing America, I believe.
Yes. Yep.
Cool.
Next one up here. High Limit Sprint Car Series. Their third season. Right around the corner. They'll be starting up again this weekend. Coincidentally enough, they're going to be with the NASCAR guys this weekend. They'll be in Las Vegas Motor Speedway at the dirt track there. They're going to be racing on Thursday and Saturday night. They're going to be off on Friday. So obviously Larson will be in town along with all the other high limit guys. Several of those guys have been running World Outlaws to kind of get ready to go for the season, but the highly anticipated next season of the High Limit Series is back in action this weekend. And you can catch that the entire season on Flow Racing.
Welcome to the High Limit Room.
Yep.
And then Tire Changer just touched on it, but we've got the Cup race is headed out west again. So do some racing at Vegas. All 3 national series, Truck, Xfinity, and Cup will all be there. So 3 full nights of racing for you. And yeah, it is it's heating up out west. And so can Seabell keep this streak up, or somebody else want to lock themselves into the playoffs? Only time will tell, because at this rate, it seems like everybody's all right with Seabell just winning everything. So go ahead.
I was gonna say of note, he was about a lap or 2 away from winning the fall race there last year.
Oh yeah, he was pissed. Yep.
So there is a very big possibility there.
Yep.
So yeah, we got all 3 series at all 3 national series at Las Vegas. And this will be a fun race. I enjoy the Vegas, and so looking forward to that. So catch all that action this weekend. 3 nights of racing for you. So let's hop into some other winners on the week here. Cal, you want to take the other winners?
Winners of the schedule. I was gonna look at the schedule.
I'll take
Either
the
one.
winners.
Okay, go ahead.
I'll take the winners. not a long list here. Brett Cruz won the ARCA race at Phoenix as well. We touched about Bill Baylog at Talladega Short Track. Hunt the Front, Ricky Weiss wins the Hunt the Front Dirt Series, their points opener on the season. Eric Almirola won the Xfinity Series. Both ARCA and Xfinity had hell of finishes. Kind of up for debate, but hell of a finish nonetheless.
Yep.
And then David Gravel, with Bill Baylog spoiling his 3 in a row, gets back into victory lane at Mongolia Speedway as well.
Looking ahead to what's on the upcoming weekend or week of racing, as we touched on, High Limit's got 2 nights of racing. The Trucks, Xfinity, and Cup Series are all at Vegas. UARA National Series at South Alabama for the Rattlers we had mentioned. World of Outlaw late models get going. They're headed to Smoky Mountain. World of Outlaw sprint cars are headed to Kennedale. Cars Tour West gets rolling at Kevin Harvick's Kern Raceway. Ooh, a little mouthful. IMSA gets a season going. They're headed to Sebring International. Looking down a little bit further, World of Outlaw late models are again at Smoky Mountain. So 2 nights of racing there for them, along with the sprint cars at Kennedale as well. Formula One gets a season rocking and rolling. They are headed to Albert Park Grand Prix Circuit in Melbourne for the Australian Grand Prix. And then it all wraps up on Sunday with the NASCAR Cup Series.
One of Cam's favorite series.
Yep, G1.
You bet. You betcha.
So, yeah, that's what the schedule's got coming up. And we'll go from there.
All right. Well, should we make some race picks?
Yep.
Or way too early race picks?
Yep.
I did not have a great week because I picked Blaney. Obviously, he decided to blow a motor.
Yep.
I'm good. You know what? I'm gonna jump on the hot seat right now.
Stop it.
Give me Bell.
Stop. Okay. All right.
Cam, you're up next.
I'm up next.
You are up
Yep.
next.
Do one quick thing here.
Google's Spring Vegas Cup race results.
Yep.
Or Vegas Fall Race.
Yep. He's gonna have a lot of seat time out there in a wing sprint as well. So give me Kyle Larson. Over the last 4 races, we've got a average finish at 3.75. So let's rock and roll.
Big statistic guy you are.
I don't know what website you're looking at, but obviously you got something.
Right. Okay. Give me the 45, Tyler Reddick.
Went on his lid last time we were there.
Yep. Yep. For sure.
That's where Kellen goes, shit, didn't realize that.
No, we're good. We're chilling.
That P35 finished there last time we were there.
Yeah.
A lot of momentum head there.
Yep. For
Perfect.
sure.
Yeah, and then we're not going to touch on, well, we can always get into this here. Just give a quick recap here. Fantasy, I don't put a ton of stock into it till the Monday morning shakes out. So deck is pending where it's at, but nice little grouping there. At the top 4 there, tough week for, I believe it was Pit Picks, Sophie's Pit Picks, and Jared E. So outside of that, look, last time I looked, there's a nice little group in there, top 4. So yeah, it's
hell of a week. 254, 238, 233, another 238, another tie. What in the hell? A 195 and a 176. So the league overall is updated. Cam, you're leading at 768. Jared's running second at 709. Cam, you're running 708. Sophie's Pit's at 686. Myself at 651. And Gasman's Girl at 670. I'm actually dead last. I apologize. Wow. It puts you to the top. It doesn't filter you in
Yeah.
order. So I'm dead last.
Oof.
Yep. We're working on it though.
A lot of season. So, yeah. Any other final thoughts?
Nope. If your tracks are getting ready to get racing, get your schedule set up. Make sure to visit your short tracks. Keep all your racetracks alive. Too much news of places closing. So if you can get to your short track and or the big series, support whichever ones you can.
Yeah, and again, jam-packed weekend of racing there for well, I shouldn't say jam-packed, but some good racing this past weekend. Some big news coming out across the racing scene and locally for us. So stay tuned on our socials. We're trying to have some fun on there as well, and interacting with us. So you can try to keep up with us on our socials. We try to stay on top of all the breaking news and chatting with people. So um, don't be afraid to follow us on our socials: X, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, whatever you got. So um, catch us on all our socials. Don't be afraid to like, comment, subscribe. We appreciate all that, and also give us some feedback. We had the thought we were trimming up episodes a little bit, trying to stick around that hour mark here. And for anybody that listens, give us some feedback. Do you like the shorter versions? You like a little bit longer? You want 2 episodes a week? Let us know. So we're always open to feedback. So as always, like, comment, subscribe. Thank you for watching, and we'll see y'all next week.